My colt was lame on the battlefield and wanted to get out of the marriage, but I insisted on marrying him. On the day of the wedding, I was designed by someone to get on the wrong sedan chair. When I noticed that something was wrong, I hurried to the general's mansion. The colt has finished worshipping heaven and earth with my companion Lin Ruoyu, was forced to be helpless, so I could only agree to let Lin Ruoyu be the flat wife of the concubine, after getting married. He never touched me for half a point on the grounds of leg disease, but 2 years later, the rebellion was successful. He walked up to me with the pregnant Lin Ruoyu in his arms. He said that Lin Ruoyu was the wife he had liked for many years, and I should have cut it with 1,000 cuts. The heavy rain that day failed to extinguish the flames in our courtyard. My legs were cut off and I was burned with no bones left. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn on the day I came back from the battlefield with a lameness. Hello, everyone, welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. I looked at Lu Jingluan in a wheelchair, and there was only one thought in my heart: since you like to be lame, then I will fulfill you. Above the main hall, Imperial Dr. Lin was checking Lu Jingluan's pulse. He pretended to have a regretful expression. Back to the Emperor. The old man can't do anything about the young general's leg, I sneered in my heart. It seems that they have long colluded together. This Imperial Dr. Lin is my father who accompanies Lin Ruoyu. In the previous life, Lu Jingluan was able to easily rebel successfully, and Imperial Dr. Lin contributed a lot. It was he who poisoned the food of the palace guards that the palace fell easily. I suppressed the blood and pretended to be grieved. Bold. Imperial Physician Lin. You cursed the princess's colt like this, I can't spare you. Dr. Lin's eyes flashed slightly. Princess's Day morning. This young General Lu has this experience, and the old man is also heartbroken, according to the past, because of Lin Ruoyu's relationship. I have always given face to this Imperial Dr. Lin, but now I have no scruples about playing with my temper. Father, it must be that this Imperial Dr. Lin is not good at medical skills. You call all the Imperial doctors and treat Jingluan one by one. I don't want him to become lame. Lin Ruoyu's face changed, and she was so anxious that she began to tug on my sleeve. Princess, don't make trouble, the young general is sad enough. Don't make trouble. I jerked around and looked at her. What, is it a trouble for this princess to find someone to show him his legs? Listen to your father's care, let him lame. Is it for his good? Lin Ruoyu hurriedly defended. Daddy is the head of the Thai hospital, and he has the best medical skills. Why should the princess let more imperial doctors see the embarrassment of the young general? Embarrassment? I raised my voice. Every soldier who fought bloody battles on the battlefield is a hero who stands up to the sky. And you actually say embarrassing. Then you mean that the injury of the colt is disgraceful. Lin Ruoyu hurriedly looked at Lu Jingluan. That's what the courtiers don't mean, alright? Lu Jingluan finally couldn't help but open his mouth. The minister has seen the doctor in the army, and it is indeed the same as what Lin Yijing said. The minister's leg is indeed seriously injured. I immediately rushed to him with rain. Are you all lame in the future? Can't walk? Since Lu Jingluan didn't want to talk about lameness, I just asked him to listen to it a few more times. Then you will become lame in the future. Won't you have to eat and drink Lazar in a wheelchair? Lu Jingluan finally couldn't listen anymore. Princess, there are many talented people in the rivers and lakes, and the minister's leg may be good, really. I burst into tears and laughed. That's great, Lu Jingluan hurriedly added. But whether you can meet those miracle doctors depends on chance. I collapsed in cooperation. That's unlucky. You don't seem to be lucky, otherwise you wouldn't be hurt. Seeing that Lu Jingluan was about to get angry, I hurriedly reached out and put it on his injured leg. Then do you have any sensation in your leg now? I used the strength of the milk and squeezed it hard. Although he was pretending to be lame, he was afraid of revealing his stuffing. So Lu Jingluan still slashed his leg ruthlessly. At this time, I deliberately pinched the injured part. Lu Jingluan's cold sweat broke out in an instant, and he reached out to open my hand. Let go, it hurts. I hurriedly let go. It's okay, it's okay. It's still conscious. Lu Jingluan's face turned red. I don't know if it was pain or anger. Lin Ruoyu couldn't help but remind. General Lu's leg is injured. What can the princess do? Only then did Lu Jingluan remember the business of pretending to be lame. Your Majesty, the minister is now seriously injured in the leg, and he feels that he is not worthy of the princess, and he asked the emperor to withdraw the marriage. And the minister is really unwilling to delay the princess's lifelong happiness. As soon as he said this, his father was obviously moved. After all, I am his favorite daughter, and no one wants his daughter to marry a lame man, just because of the lameness. The royal family will withdraw from the marriage, which will inevitably make the soldiers and courtiers feel cold. as soon as I heard this in my previous life. I hurriedly knelt down and vowed to marry Lu Jingluan and not let my father withdraw from the marriage. At the beginning, he asked his father for marriage, but then he hooked up with Lin Ruoyu at some point, and he wanted to withdraw from the marriage in every possible way. What happened to me? So in this life, I still knelt down, father, although the horse lost his city and came back from a defeat, but he was also lame on the battlefield. If his son quit because of this, wouldn't he be a ruthless and unrighteous person? The daughter is willing to marry the concubine and ask her father to fulfill it. Lu Jingluan's face turned blue. He lost the battle, and it was not very glorious, but because of his lame legs, everyone had more mercy, and no one mentioned the defeat. But I didn't expect me to make it clear. The selfish villain, who pretended to be lame and lost the city, lost the battle, and still wanted to pretend to be a hero, but there was no door. I didn't pay attention to him anymore, and commanded in a cold voice, Imperial Dr. Lin, there is a specialization in the art industry, although you are a doctor, but other imperial doctors may also be good at treating leg diseases, or you should personally pick a few imperial doctors who are good at leg diseases, the more the better. Don't look for a few more doctors. This princess is not at ease. Imperial physician Lin has been in the palace for many years, so I want to see how many of his people are there. In less than a cup of tea, Imperial physician Lin led the 5 imperial physicians into the main hall. My heart sank terribly. There were a total of more than a dozen people in the Tai hospital, and there were so many henchmen of Tai Lin. Sure enough, after the 5 of them checked the pulse in turn, they all came to the same conclusion as Imperial Dr. Lin. I silently wrote down a few people, and I will slowly rectify them later, after the diagnosis and treatment. I volunteered to take over the important task of decocting medicine for Lu Jingluan. The Queen Mother couldn't resist me, so she had to agree. So the scorching sun was scorching and the cicadas were singing. I sat on a bench in the shade of a tree, eating iced melons and fruits, and watched Lin Ruoyu decoct Lu Jingluan under the scorching sun. Ruoyu, the fan in your hand is faster, so that the effect of the medicine can be better. This is the decoction I personally fried for the horse. It is a piece of my heart. Lin Ruoyu glanced at me resentfully. Her body was already soaked with sweat, and she could only fan desperately. After the medicine was decoctioned, I sat on the sedan chair. Ruoyu, do you want to accompany this princess to the general's mansion to deliver the medicine? Lin Ruoyu couldn't ask for it. Princess, wait for me for a while, I'll go change my clothes. This princess was the most talkative, so while she was going to change her clothes, I sprinkled the prepared powder into the medicinal soup. Lin Ruoyu dressed up very exquisitely, happily followed me to Lu Jingluan's room, and then very considerately fed Lu Jingluan himself, and he drank the decoction clean. Seeing the two of them flirting without a trace, I sneered in my heart. Lu Jingluan, I am looking forward to your reaction when you learn that your beloved has fed you a poison that will never stand up in your legs, for more than 10 days in a row. I worked tirelessly to deliver medicine. Lu Jingluan's leg not only did not improve, but the wound began to rot. He became anxious, and couldn't help but ask, did the princess personally fry this medicine? I was seriously admiring the new Danko, and when I heard it, I looked. It was Princess Ben who watched and fried it herself, but the prescription prescribed by Imperial Dr. Lin. Did the princess misplace the medicine? Lu Jingluan became suspicious. I straightened my face. Ruoyu, you put the medicine yourself. Did you put it wrong? Lin Ruoyu hurriedly waved her hand. How come? I made sure that every medicine was correct. Hearing that it was Lin Ruoyu's medicine, Lu Jingluan was relieved and drank the decoction again. Seeing that Lu Jingluan's legs were not improving, the Queen Mother was worried. Linger, besides Lu Jingluan, do you have any other men who catch your eye? I know that the Queen Mother is thinking of quitting her family, and in the last life. The Queen Mother also mentioned this matter to me. At that time, I was full of Lu Jingluan, and I told my mother that he would not marry, which broke my mother's heart. Anyway, on the day of the wedding, I will still be designed with the wrong sedan chair. So if I withdraw from the marriage in this life, wouldn't it be a lot less fun? I just want to see Lin Ruoyu do all the tricks, and then marry Lu Jingluan, who is lame. I stretched out my hand to hug my mother. Mother, Lu Jingluan is a leg injured on the battlefield. If my daughter divorces, won't she be spurned by thousands of people? The Queen Mother hesitated. The Queen Mother and your father can compensate him elsewhere. I really don't want you to marry and suffer. Maybe Lu Jingluan's leg will be better later. Linger will be fine. Don't worry about the Queen Mother. I smiled and diverted the topic. I heard that Su Shizhi is about to return to the dynasty in triumph. Can the Queen Mother help her sons prepare palace banquet dresses? The Queen Mother was led astray by me. I'm ready. I'll take you to try it now. when I put on the Yunjin dress, the Queen Mother couldn't help but sigh, "My son is really beautiful." And it is not an exaggeration to say that she is the first beauty in Beijing. I blushed. The Queen Mother makes fun of her son. Looking at myself in the bronze mirror, I am looking forward to seeing Su Jinyan in this life, in the previous life. Su Jinyan was also indirectly designed, and after he didn't get anything, he returned to the border in a fit of anger, and I didn't have the chance to see him again, but I heard from my subordinates that after Lu Jingluan's rebellion was successful, Su Jinyan, who was far away in the frontier, rushed back, just to kill Lu Jingluan, a rebellious minister and thief. It's a pity that the day before Su Jinyan's siege, I was tortured for half the night, my legs were cut off. And I was finally buried in the fire. I don't know if Su Jinyan succeeded in the end. At Su Jinyan's celebration banquet, I appeared in a gorgeous costume. When he saw Su Jinyan, he was lazily holding his forehead with one hand and holding a wine glass in the other, not knowing what he was thinking. Su was aware of my gaze, and Su Jinyan looked at it casually. The eyes collided, and I lost my mind for a moment. Su Jinyan was rumored to be a bloodthirsty Yama by the people. And it is said that he killed decisively on the battlefield, not only making the enemy terrified, but even the folk Grassco heard the name of General Su, and consciously returned to the mountain to avoid it, so that later he had such a terrifying title. Su Jinyan's father is the only king of the opposite sex in this dynasty, and he was also a battlefield killer. But he was unfortunately betrayed by the inner ghost 5 years ago and died on the battlefield. Su Jinyan, who was only 12 years old, went to the battlefield for his father, and he fought for 5 years, and became a veritable commander with his outstanding military exploits. At the celebration banquet in the previous life, I sat next to Lu Jingluan and carefully served him wine and food, almost playing the role of a maid, and had no time to take care of others. Unexpectedly, after not seeing him for 5 years, the thin young man at the beginning turned out to be like a jade son, which was completely inconsistent with his title. If I'm not mistaken, he's going to ask for a marriage in a moment. After 3 rounds of drinking, his father talked about the reward for meritorious deeds and asked Su Jinyan what reward he wanted. Su Jinyan knelt on one knee in the center of the hall. His expression was serious, and he completely lost the lazy appearance just now. "I want to ask your majesty for marriage." The father was overjoyed. After all, marriage is a matter of one sentence compared to other rewards. "Oh, which daughter did General Su fall in love with? I am determined to give you a wonderful marriage." The tips of Su Jinyan's ears quietly turned red, and his eyes fell on me burningly. "The minister begs to marry Princess Qingling." The audience was in an uproar. Doesn't this General Su know that Princess Qingling has already been married? But this General Lu's leg is not good yet. General Lu lost the battle. This General Su has returned to the dynasty in triumph. The father also had a momentary embarrassment. Who would have thought that Su Jinyan would have calculated on his daughter's head, and she was still a married daughter. At this moment in my previous life, I was already furious, pointing at Su Jinyan and scolding him, and actively showing my loyalty to Lu Jingluan. Now, I saw with my own eyes that the light in Su Jinyan's eyes was shattered little by little, and his eyes were full of indifferent expressions. The minister hasn't finished speaking. The minister asks to marry Princess Qingling's personal maid. The main hall can be heard in an instant. I suddenly couldn't bear Su Jinyan to face all this alone. For the sake of me and my father's face, he actually fell into a price to ask to marry a maid. The courtiers are willing to marry General Su. Lin Ruoyu suddenly knelt beside Su Jinyan, but the courtiers have a request. "I hope to marry the princess on the same day, and ask the emperor to fulfill it." Lu Jingluan's wheelchair made a piercing sound of scratching the ground, and he looked at Lin Ruoyu in disbelief, but after meeting her meaningful eyes, he suppressed his emotions. "This Lin Ruoyu is my companion, and she can only be regarded as half of my maid. And the 2 personal maids behind me are silent, and she is not afraid of leaking the fox's tail." Not only did I sigh, I was so blind in the past. Now I have green grass on my head, but I only think that I am blind and cannot see, and silently scold the dogman and woman 800 times. Lin Ruoyu took the initiative so much that his father had no choice but to push the boat down the river. "Is General Su willing?" Su Jinyan's face was already gray. He glanced sideways slightly, and replied, "It's all right. Thank the emperor for his grace." Lin Ruoyu and Su Jinyan's marriage was decided in this way. Lin Ruoyu took the initiative to marry in the palace, which also indirectly solved the embarrassing situation at that time, and her father granted her request and married me on the same day. Later, Lin Ruoyu tried her best to persuade the Queen Mother to ask for the same wedding dress as me. Although Lin Ruoyu is just a companion, she is going to marry Su Jinyan, who has made great achievements. On the surface, the Queen Mother couldn't favor one over the other, so she agreed to her request and asked Shanghai Feng to make the same wedding dress. Only I know that Lin Ruoyu wants to do tricks at the wedding. I watched her coldly as she prepared for the wedding with a happy look on her face. There are still more than 10 days to get married, and on this day I took Lin Ruoyu to ask Lu Jingluan to go out. After Lu Jingluan was pushed around dozens of stores in a wheelchair, he was a little annoyed. I pretended not to see it, continued to look at the jewelry with great interest, and even gave Lin Ruoyu several sets of face noodles in a good mood. Lin Ruoyu was confused by the jewelry I gave at this time, and her eyes were full of dazzling jewelry, and she couldn't take care of Lu Jingluan at all, just as we were out of the treasure pavilion. Several mad dogs suddenly ran out and rushed to Lu Jingluan in a wheelchair. There weren't many entourages with them when they went out this time, and everyone had a lot of goods in their hands at this time, and no one had time to push the wheelchair. Lu Jingluan, who was originally listless, instantly resurrected with full blood, threw down the wheelchair, ran out in a few steps, turned around and began to beat the dog. After the mad dog was beaten away, everyone looked at Lu Jingluan's legs in surprise. Originally, Lu Jingluan refused to have sex with me on the grounds of leg disease, and used this to reduce his sense of existence and plot a rebellion. At this time, a few wild dogs disrupted his plans. Lu Jingluan's face was an unprecedented gloom. I smiled innocently. Great, your leg is fine, aren't you happy? Lu Jingluan stared at me for a moment, and suddenly smiled meaningfully. Happy, maybe I'll be happier in a moment. So the princess can go shopping. To be honest, seeing Lu Jingluan's sinister smile, I was frightened for a moment, and my intuition told me that I should go back to the palace immediately. Don't go shopping, your leg is fine. I will go back to the palace immediately and tell my father and mother the good news. Princess, the rouge from the rouge shop in front of you is very good. Come with me to buy 2 more boxes, please princess. Lin Ruoyu suddenly grabbed my arm. Princess, since they are all out, the dagger in front of the armory shop is also very good, and the princess will also accompany Weichen to go shopping. Lu Jingluan glanced at me and Lin Ruoyu, and took the lead in walking forward. Lin Ruoyu took me and followed. I had expected that these two would lose their breath, but I didn't expect that now. I would like to see what tricks they play. In the weapons shop, Lu Jingluan looked at the sword and then the dagger unhurriedly. But his eyes looked out intentionally or unintentionally. It wasn't until more than a dozen black-clothed people suddenly broke in and stabbed at us with swords that Lu Jingluan fought with the assassins while protecting Lin Ruoyu. The attendants hurriedly threw away their things and came to protect me, but the assassin obviously came prepared, and with Lu Jingluan's deliberate release of water, several guards were entangled to one side. And there were only 2 people left in front of me to protect me. I estimate that Lu Jingluan at this time does not have the courage to kill me at present, but I estimate that I will have to be injured and suffer a little. I gritted my teeth in hatred and blamed myself for being careless. The store was already in chaos, and just as the assassin's sword stabbed me in both legs, I didn't expect it to be opened by a jade pendant. Su Jinyan was like a god, fluttering and protecting me safely. In less than a cup of tea, several of the assassins were killed and wounded, and the rest fled in a hurry. Are you hurt? Su Jinyan didn't chase the assassin, but looked at me eagerly. I shook my head slightly, and before I could reply, an unbelievable scene appeared. Lu Jingluan, who was standing towards me and Su Jinyan, suddenly knelt straight. Su Jinyan was stunned for a moment. General Lu doesn't need to make this big gift. Lu Jingluan was annoyed and wanted to stand up, but found that he couldn't use his legs no matter what. Originally, the moment I met the mad dog, it was the last bit of leeway I left for him, and it was also to expose him that he was not really lame. But I didn't expect him to arrange assassins to achieve his goal. Now that Lu Jingluan's leg is overused, he is completely lame, and he has buried the last possibility of standing up with his own hands. After Jing Juin's people arrived, Su Jinyan personally escorted me back to the palace, and after taking a deep look at me, he left without saying a word. Lu Jingluan, who lost consciousness in his legs, let people push him back to the general's mansion in a hurry. On that day, several imperial physicians went to the general's mansion and returned to the palace in the evening. Later, the spies came to report that Lu Jingluan was looking for a miracle doctor all over the world. I swallowed melon seeds and beckoned Lin Ruoyu, who was full of sadness, to come and sing me a little song. The night before the wedding, Lin Ruoyu pulled me to chat all night as planned. I fought hard and didn't sleep all night. At dawn, Lin Ruoyu and I both painted delicate makeup. Lin Ruoyu looked at the exquisite phoenix crown on my head, and her eyes were red. Although the wedding dress is the same, the jewelry I wear, I and hers are naturally very different. The daughter of the little imperial doctor is really beyond her power to compare herself with me. I bid farewell to my father and mother with red eyes, and then obediently asked my mother to help me cover the red veil. The moment the red veil was covered, I knew that the show was about to begin. The mighty guard of honor followed me and Lin Ruoyu out of the door. At the moment when I stepped out of the temple gate, Lin Ruoyu suddenly crooked her feet, pounced on me, hugged me a few times without a trace, and then stood in front of the honor guard I was supposed to stand. I pretended not to notice it, and even yawned profusely, indicating that I was sleepy and unresponsive. As for the surrounding maids and grandmothers, some of them didn't react, some of them were arranged in advance to pretend to be stupid, and some of them were naturally bought by Lin Ruoyu and Lu Jingluan. So, as if everything was normal, I finally got into the wrong sedan chair. Picking up the red yarn casually, I looked out through the gap in the sedan curtain. Lu Jingluan was sitting in a wheelchair in a happy robe, and he just turned to look in my direction, with a sinister smile on his face. Su Jinyan was sitting on a horse in red, and he was also looking back, but his eyes were on the other sedan chair. His eyes were full of pain, and he couldn't see a trace of joy. I'm a little worried. Does this Su Jinyan see that the person on the sedan chair is wrong, otherwise? Why did he keep staring at that sedan chair? He wouldn't spoil me, right? It turned out that I was too worried, and when I got out of the front street, the sedan chair was separated from the left and the right, and I watched Su Jinyan's nostalgic gaze slowly disperse. After the other party's sedan chair was completely invisible, Su Jinyan suddenly went crazy. He grabbed the horse's belly regardless of it, and ran away. The send-off team was stunned, and then the girl ran to chase the groom. The sedan chair ran up quickly, and I was shaken so much that I didn't have the heart to sleep for a while. I said why the sedan chair in the previous life suddenly shook. I thought it was because I was afraid that I would fall asleep and would shake me awake. The unsolved mystery of the two worlds suddenly became clear. Why did the sedan chair of the marriage run and sway? Because the groom ran away and wanted to chase it. Before I could be shaken, the sedan chair finally stopped. I recovered the red veil, and before I got out of the sedan chair, I heard the grandmother on the side shouting, "The Su mansion has arrived, and the bride has gotten off the sedan chair." There was a discussion around him. This bridegroom has entered the palace not long ago. Why has this bride arrived? And what can I do if there is no one to shoot arrows now? I remained silent, opened the sedan curtain by myself, and got out of the sedan chair. The grandmother was anxious, and shouted again. "General Su's mansion has arrived. Why didn't General Su Jinyan come out to welcome the bride?" Seeing that I was not in a hurry, Mama shouted, "Wrong, wrong," on the wrong sedan chair. Instead, I walked unusually calmly towards the house. She hurriedly pulled me along and asked uncertainly, "Girl, is that you?" I still ignored her and went straight to the house. Seeing that I didn't react, Mama wasn't sure whether I was Lin Ruoyu or a princess, so she had to follow me into the house. Looking from under the red veil, there are quite a few people going up and down all the way, but in the main house of the worship hall, there are more than a dozen pairs of feet standing sporadically, and it is estimated that the visitors have gone to the Lu mansion. "I'm going to the toilet, you're waiting here." I made an excuse at random. I didn't care about the guests in the front hall, and walked to Su Jinyan's courtyard with my childhood memories. The next people are going to the front hall to be busy with the wedding, so the road is really deserted. Walking through the rockery is Su Jinyan's yard. I have taken off the red yarn and held it in my hand, and I saw that I was outside the arch of the yard. A voice came, and I stopped and looked slightly sideways. An elderly man was standing in front of Su Jinyan with a white face. "Oh, my little son, why are you still drinking here? Quickly change your clothes and go to the church. The bride has arrived. Didn't you go to greet your relatives? Why did you run back on your own?" At this time, Su Jinyan was dressed in white. He took another sip of the flask with a heavy heart. "Just find someone to do it for me. How can this be replaced?" The old butler was so anxious that he almost went up to grab the wine jug. "Could it be that you don't like the princess of this world? Don't you like it?" Su Jinyan smiled bitterly. "What's the joy or dislike, anyway, except for her? Everyone is the same." Seeing that he was about to pour wine again, I walked out of the rockery. Since everyone is the same, why didn't Su Shitsi even bother to worship when he came to Princess Ben? Su Jinyan's wine jar fell to the ground. He slowly stood up, looked at me intently, and muttered after a while, "Such a little wine, you are still drunk." The old butler was so frightened that he didn't come back to his senses for a long time, and after reacting, he hurriedly knelt on the ground. "The old slave has seen the princess. How are you? How are you?" I hold my forehead, there is no normal person in this Su mansion. Didn't I change a bride? As for the expression that the sky is falling, if I say that I was designed with the wrong sedan chair, will you believe me? Su Jinyin finally reacted, stepped in front of me in 2 steps, and looked at me nervously. So, what do you want? I threw the red hijab at him. What else can I do? Worship the church? This princess is ready to make a mistake. General Su is willing to be wronged, so as to accompany me to pay a visit, so as not to let this princess be framed. It has become a joke. Good, good. Su Jinyin smiled like a fool. Let's go to the church. I don't move. Su Jinyin's smile turned cautious. Do you regret it? I glanced at him with disgust. Why haven't I seen him for a few years? My brain is not very good. I roared. You are wearing such a white dress to worship with me. I'm going to change my clothes. Change it now. Don't go. Su Jinyin jumped and ran to the room, and didn't forget to turn around and shout, Uncle Chen, stop her, don't let her run away. After just a few breaths, Su Jinyin wore a red robe, ran out with a belt, and smiled like a fool. I put the red veil back on and took his palm. We went to the main house of the chapel together. I peeked at him from under the red veil, and the man was still walking on a crutch. At this time, Lin Ruoyu of the Lu mansion had already deliberately exposed his horse's feet, and the full hall of Wenwu, who had originally gone to congratulate me, found that the princess had been replaced by a companion. Everyone looked at each other. How is this good? Lu Jingluan said as if he was very distressed. Since the matter has come to this, I can only wait for the princess to arrive, and then visit the church again. As for Ruoyu, since she has already visited the church, I can only wrong her to marry her as a flat wife. Everyone felt that something was wrong, but they couldn't say anything was wrong, so they craned their necks and looked back at the door, until a subordinate from the Lu mansion ran in and whispered a few words to Lu Jingluan. Lu Jingluan was shocked. At this time, my personal maid arrived at the Lu mansion and shouted loudly, Ladies and gentlemen, the princess has noticed that she got on the wrong sedan chair with Miss Lin, and she is still waiting in the front hall of the Su mansion. But the princess said that if General Lu and Miss Lin have already visited the church, then there is no reason to beat the Mandarin ducks, which means that she and General Lu are inseparable. And I would like you to go to Su mansion again to witness her and General Su's wedding. When the people heard this, they rushed out. Joke. Originally, I didn't go to Su mansion when I came to Lu mansion, because I was afraid of saving the princess's face. But now that the princess is in Su mansion, I must hurry over. After all, Su Shizhi is a real general, the future prince. This General Lu, although he is called a general, is still lame. Who knows what will happen in the future? The originally crowded spectators ran out, more than half of them in an instant, and the remaining half ran slowly because of their age. What's even more legendary is that these personal elites even ran to the gift collection office, found out the congratulatory gifts they had prepared, and ran away with them. My dowry hurriedly put on the dowry again and rushed to the Su mansion with a blow. The Lu mansion has been working for a while, and it has been crowded. This is not what I expected. Huh? Shouldn't the princess love him so much that she immediately ran back to the general's mansion when she found out that something was wrong? Why haven't you come yet? Lu Jingluan was blinded. Lin Ruoyu was surprised and delighted. This is directly the housewife. No need to be a flat wife, but the dowry has been taken away, although there are not many of them, but they are still in Su mansion. What can I do? Looking at the so many distinguished guests pouring in from Su mansion all at once, I don't care what those 2 people think now. In the compliments of a match made in heaven and a talented woman, Su Jinyin and I worshipped happily. In the new house, I looked at the smirking Su Jinyin and couldn't help asking, Are you happy on today's big day? Su Jinyin smiled like a flower and nodded busily. Happy, happy. Who designed you? I want to give him one. I feigned anger, but I want to kill him. Su Jinyin saw that I was angry, and hurriedly coaxed, Qingling, don't leave me. If you don't like anything about me, I will definitely change it. I will definitely be better than that Lu Jingluan to you. I will be good to you for a lifetime. Don't you want me? Seeing that he was so anxious, not at all like the rumoredly cold look, I couldn't help but tease him. Like me, he rarely straightened his face and looked at me seriously. I am pleased with you. It has been many, many years. I finally asked the question of my previous life. How much do you like me? What would you do if I were killed? Su Jinyin's face seemed to be covered with a layer of ice in an instant. Slaughter all the people who should be killed, and bury you with you. I was moved and shocked in my heart, and even completely believed his words, and couldn't help but wonder if God was unwilling to increase the number of killings, so he gave me such a chance to be reborn. Seeing that I was no longer talking, Su Jinyin asked carefully, But it scared you? I shook my head and called for the maid to wash up. When I changed into my pajamas, I found that Su Jinyan was nervously looking at a pair of dragon and phoenix candles. "Why don't you sleep and look at candles?" Su Jinyan's face was full of piety. "I want to guard them and burn until dawn. We will definitely be able to live for a long time and never be separated for the rest of our lives." How can this Su Jinyan still believe this? I patted the bed on the side. "Do you think you can come over and sleep for a long time, or look at this pair of candles for a long time?" Su Jinyan looked at me in disbelief and asked cautiously, "Sleep here, can I?" I stifled a smile and blinked. "Can you do it, you ask me?" I don't know which word touched Su Jinyan's nerves, and in the swaying of the red candles, I was in a daze, and really kept this pair of red candles all night, early in the morning of the second day. Su Jinyan helped me back to the palace to thank me in the spring breeze, and happened to meet Lu Jingluan and Lin Ruoyu, who also came to thank me. The father and queen mother had already heard about the mistake of getting into the sedan chair yesterday, but for such a result, the two of them invariably chose to ignore it, and said a few words about the will of heaven and the like, even if the matter was settled. As for Lu Jingluan and Lin Ruoyu, both of them had calm faces, and they didn't look like they were happy to get married. I wonder a little. Although Lu Jingluan's leg is lame, but the two can be regarded as husband and wife in the end, and they got what they wanted. Why are they still so unhappy? I saw that the eyes of the two of them were blue, and I couldn't help but guess, could it be that the battle was fierce last night and I didn't sleep all night? When it was time to serve tea, Lin Ruoyu still looked miserable and pitiful. And she didn't even pick up the tea bowl in a restless way, and the tea spilled directly on her sleeve. The maid who delivered the tea was afraid that she would be burned, so she hurriedly helped Lin Ruoyu roll up her sleeves, and the bright red shogong sand was so unexpectedly exposed. They don't even have a cave room. I was stunned, and I couldn't help but look at Lu Jingluan's lame leg. Could it be that after the leg lost consciousness, it wouldn't work? Later, it turned out that my guess was correct, and although Lu Jingluan tried his best to cover it up, the Thai hospital still leaked General Lu's remarks that he was not good. The spies reported a few days later that after Lu Jingluan found out that he couldn't do it, his temper became more and more irritable. And he even beat Lin Ruoyu. This painstaking design of the marriage doesn't seem to be very good. Half a month later, Jing Zhouyin, under my intentional guidance, really found out about Lu Fu's head. The assassin who was in the weapons store before the big wedding was the private soldier of the Lu mansion. Lu Jingluan shouted that he was wronged, saying that those government soldiers had already been driven out of the government because of their mistakes, and they must have come back to take revenge because of their grudges. Those private soldiers were indeed kept outside, and when he shouted like this, he really had no evidence of conviction. It's just that after this incident came out, public opinion changed, and everyone scolded Lu Jingluan for taking the blame for arranging assassins to assassinate him, and he actually stabbed his leg lame, after all, in front of the public that day. Everyone saw with their own eyes that Lu Jingluan was agile and beat away a few mad dogs. Later, he had to go shopping with a vigorous pace. Lu Jingluan went from a lame general on the battlefield to a fool who played lame by himself. Before this wave passed, a palace maid quietly told Lin Ruoyu about bribing the people of the Lu mansion and deliberately tripping over the wrong sedan chair. Everyone immediately thought of the fact that on the day of the wedding, after Lin Ruoyu worshipped the church with joy, he deliberately showed his feet. Someone else said that at the celebration banquet that day, Lin Ruoyu asked to marry Su Jinyan, and she had to marry the princess on the same day. Originally, everyone didn't care about one thing. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but when all the plots are connected together, the causes and consequences are clear. Some people have even guessed that the assassin deliberately arranged by the two of them was to kill Princess Qingling. It's just that the sky has eyes, harming others and himself, and Lu Jingluan has made himself lame, and General Su heroically saved the beauty, and finally hugged the beauty. Lu Jingluan was desperately trying to find someone to quell the rumors at first, but unfortunately after seeing that the mouths of the people couldn't be blocked, he came to me cheekily and begged me to help him clarify a few words of good words. He looked at me with affection on his face. "Linger, I have always been pleased with you, otherwise I would not have asked to marry you in the first place. But unfortunately God made people marry the wrong person. Every time I think about it, my heart hurts like it is broken." Su Jinyan, who was peeling grapes for me to eat, rolled up his sleeves and was about to beat someone. I glanced at him lightly. He was the one who designed me to get on the wrong sedan chair in the first place, and I haven't seen enough of it. Su Jinyan immediately smiled. If it weren't for Lu Jingluan, I suspect that he would be willing to let him knock one. Hearing me say this, Lu Jingluan was anxious. "Linger, I'm not acting. It was Lin Ruoyu's cheap woman who designed you, and I have always been sincere to you. I swallowed the grapes that were a little sweet, and said quietly, Lu Jingluan. Does it hurt when you cut your own leg? Lu Jingluan's eyes flickered. Linger, I don't understand what you mean. Don't understand. I smiled kindly. You said it was just such a knife. How could your leg be lame? Your leg was personally seen by Imperial Physician Lin, and the medicine was fried by Lin Ruoyu himself. Tell me, with such good care, why are you still lame? Shouldn't it? Lu Jingluan's hand shook the green tendons. He seemed to have finally found the reason for his lame leg. And he didn't care about letting me say good things. He went home angrily. Imperial Dr. Lin routinely went to Lu Mansion to treat his son-in-law's legs, but accidentally fell down in Lu Mansion and broke his legs. Lu Jingluan was filial piety and asked his father to let Imperial Dr. Lin recuperate in Lu Mansion. With a stroke of his pen, my father followed my advice and changed the position of the doctor, so that Imperial Dr. Lin could recuperate with peace of mind. It's a pity that Imperial Dr. Lin's legs are getting worse and worse, and he was paralyzed in bed within a few days, and Lin Ruoyu felt sorry for his father, and it is said that he was blind from crying. Now the capital has changed the topic, and it is said that after Lu Jingluan returned from losing a city, feng shui suddenly became bad. This broken leg and blind man has never been broken, but I didn't expect that at this time. The soldiers at the border came back to report to their father. And a few enemy soldiers who were hiding in the shadows saw that Lu Jingluan had slashed his leg by himself, and then deliberately defeated and lost his city. Now the story of the foolish General Lu Jingluan is spreading in enemy countries, and it has become a joke for a while, and even the satirical nursery rhymes on the border have been sung. The father was furious, and the battle situation at that time was thoroughly investigated, and there were several former Lu Jingluan's cronies who couldn't resist the guilt in their hearts, and finally told the truth. Lu Jingluan did give himself a knife, and then pretended to be lame and retreated from the army and lost a city. At this time, Imperial Physician Lin's henchmen were anxious to clear up the relationship, and they all said that they were bewitched by Imperial Physician Lin, which proved the fact that Lu Jingluan was lame. The excerpt of the impeachment of Lu Jingluan was instantly filled with his father's bookcase. The father ordered the Lu Mansion to raid the house and behead it, but he didn't expect that a large number of privately hidden weapons and a large number of gold, silver, and jewelry were found. Lu Jingluan has even filled his own pockets over the years, and he has been greedy for military supplies and silver. The people were furious, and they were eager to punish him. On the day of the raid on the Lu Mansion, I came to the courtyard where I used to live and asked people to bring Lu Jingluan and Lin Ruoyu over. After Lu Jingluan saw me, he hurriedly lay down in front of me. Linger, I was bewitched by Lin Ruoyu, a cheap woman, to do stupid things. Can you save me? Let's start again. Lin Ruoyu pushed Lu Jingluan away, and she hurriedly knelt in front of me. Princess, it was Lu Jingluan who framed me. He forced me to marry him, and deliberately broke my father's leg and injured one of my eyes. Princess, you have to make the decision for me. I looked at Lin Ruoyu's eyes. One of them was completely gray and had lost the slightest look. This Lu Jingluan was really ruthless. You slut. It's all you who deliberately seduced me. I'll beat you to death, slut. Lu Jingluan grabbed Lin Ruoyu's ankle with one hand and hit her back with the other. Lin Ruoyu didn't show weakness. She turned around and greeted Lu Jingluan's face, but after a while, there were a few more blood marks on Lu Jingluan's face. It's all you lame, you waste. You still want to rebel, you? I immediately rushed to him with rain. Are you all lame in the future? Can't walk? And Lin Ruoyu's head hit the table and fainted. It's no wonder that Lu Jingluan suddenly became ruthless. After all, now he is just raiding his house and beheading. If Lin Ruoyu shakes out the rebellion, then he will have to destroy the 9 clans. Watching these two dog eat dog is really refreshing. I calmly commanded, come, splash her awake. A bucket of water was poured on Lin Ruoyu's head, and she woke up in a daze. I thought she would fight back, but I didn't expect her to go crazy. Ha ha ha, Lu Jingluan, you are a waste. This life is not as good as the previous life. Lin Ruoyu pointed at Lu Jingluan and laughed wildly. You can't be the emperor for 2 lifetimes, and you still make me suffer with you. My eyes shrunk slightly, staring at Lin Ruoyu tightly. Is she also reborn? I laughed, and that's a lot more interesting. I was killed in this room in my last life. There is a debtor and a debtor. In this life, I sneered and ordered, since Mrs. Lu is crazy, there is no need to send them to prison, and the 2 of them will be locked up here, before going out. I kindly told Lu Jingluan, the decoction you drank at that time was indeed fried by Lin Ruoyu herself, but this princess took advantage of her change of clothes to secretly add some ingredients. When I got it I smiled and turned around and walked out the door. Outside the house, I listened to Lu Jingluan's screams and abuse, and listened to Lin Ruoyu's insults to Lu Jingluan, and my heart was unprecedentedly relieved, since the two of them are trying their best to be together. I am very willing to be an adult beauty and lock the two firmly together. I don't know how long it took, but the beating and scolding in the room gradually became quieter, just when I thought it was over. I suddenly heard Lu Jingluan shouting, "How can this be? Obviously I am about to become the emperor. It is Su Jinyan. If it weren't for him, how could I die?" A new round of cries began in the room, and Lin Ruoyu's screams. Su Jinyan took care of the things in the front yard, and when he rushed over, I was still looking at the courtyard I was once familiar with. "Qingling, what's wrong?" Su Jinyan looked at me with a tender face, caring for a treasure, and gently held me in his arms. Now I know that in the previous life, Su Jinyan, he successfully avenged me. I couldn't help but feel sorry for Su Jinyan at that time, who had nothing and ran to the border alone, but rushed back without hesitation at the most dangerous time. Luckily, there's still a chance for me to make up for that affection. That night, the courtyard of Lufu was full of fire again, but the weather was dry and the rain did not fall. Lu Jingluan and Lin Ruoyu were buried in the fire, and their bones were gone. And Su Jinyan's time with me has just begun, and we will be happily together for the rest of our lives.